Furthermore, the honorable witnesses have stated that they each heard an incantation being recited. The court finds no reason to delay its verdict any longer.
Nick! We have to do something.
I know, but what exactly can we say? Here in this world, our sense of logic is completely useless.
This court is ready to hand down its verdict for the case
No!
of Isabella Cantabella.
Hold it.
I know who this is. Layton!
Your Honor, I request that the court hold its verdict a moment longer.
What is the meaning of this intrusion?
I have something I believe will be of use to the defense. A weapon of sorts.
That's...
The Grand Grimoire. All of this world's magic is contained within its pages. Without it, this trial cannot reach a satisfactory conclusion.
the Grand Grimoire.
Hey, guys! We meet again, Mr. Wright. Well now, it seems things are already afoot here. Although the real contest begins now. Are you fully prepared? So, are you here to help us?
Of course. The professor always helps people in trouble. It is the duty of every gentleman, right, Professor?
But, Professor... There is a saying that I find quite useful in situations such as this. There is a time for words and a time for action. Right. You have been working as a baker in this town up until now, have you not? I must say, I'm a little mystified. I'd have expected you to be more familiar with this world and its system of magic. Yeah, how can I put this? I guess that's not quite the full story. Is that so? I kind of had an epiphany just now. I remembered all sorts of things, like how I'm not actually a baker. And well, how magic can't really exist. Then it would seem I was correct about you, Mr. Wright. You are not, in fact, a citizen of this town, is that correct? Right. At least it seems that way. However, for now, we have no option but to accept this world and its rules as a reality. Without first understanding those rules, I'm afraid you will not be able to save Miss Cantabella. But things like magic only exist in fairy tales and make-believe. I'm afraid, Mr. Wright, it would seem magic does in fact exist in this world. Such a truth cannot be denied. Indeed, that is why the Grand Grimoire is a weapon well suited for this witch trial. At the moment, you are tantamount to a knight without a sword. I feel more like an attorney without a chance, actually.
Right then, Mr. Wright. I'll explain how the Grand Grimoire works. Have a look at the touchscreen. There, you'll see the Grand Grimoire button. Touching the Grand Grimoire button will open the Grand Grimoire.
You will be able to present spells from the Grand Grimoire in much the same way you would present evidence. This book will surely be a most important asset for us in this trial.
Okay. Oh, that reminds me. I've gone ahead and bookmarked the spell Ignace for you. Okay. Ignace. That's the magic spell all of the other witnesses said they heard, right? Nick, you should take a look at that spell.
Alright, all I have to do is push that. Okay. The defender has been given more than enough time. It would seem this trial has reached its end.
No, it hasn't.
Is that understood, Sir Apprentice Baker? This case is quite straightforward, with very little room for doubt. The witness's testimony, coupled with the illustration at the time of the murder, makes it quite clear what must have occurred. This murder was the result of magic, and furthermore, the caster of said magic was none other than the accused. That, Sir Apprentice Baker, is the truth. Best you go back to baking, for I believe your day in the courtroom have crumbled.
Ignace, Inferno spell. Summons a circle of flame within a 1 meter radius of the caster. Requires an incantation and scepter to cast.
She will... What? Ah! Is everything okay, Mr. Wright?
Yeah.
It would seem that photographs do not exist in this world.
Photos don't exist?
I guess that makes sense, ye old time period and all. The sketch drawn by the court illustrator, therein lies your final chance, Mr. Wright.
My final chance.
I understand the witnesses have already finished their testimony. However, if you could perhaps find a clear contradiction within this illustration. There's another contradiction? In that case, there's still hope that I can turn this around.
Mr. Wright, you have to hurry. Look, the judge. He looks ready to deliver his verdict any second now.
This is it. This is my last chance. What should I do? Point out the contradiction.
Hold it!
1 second, Your Honor. The defense requests permission to have another look at the court illustration. I think there might be a contradiction in there.
Objection!
You're already out of time. All testimony and evidence given thus far has been proven to be accurate.
Objection!
I wouldn't be so sure, Inquisitor Barnum. There's just one thing you've overlooked, a piece of evidence within this book. The Grand Grimoire. Absurd. I overlooked something. You're the defender here. You should have examined the tome earlier. You're right. I should have. But unfortunately, I was nothing but a simple baker until just now. Interesting. You've certainly begun to show your true colors, Sir Blue Knight.
I like that he's changed it now.
Let us see what type of knight you truly are. Have at you! The defender will now show us this supposed contradiction. The court illustration and the Grand Grimoire. Somewhere there is a contradiction between those two, and I've got to find it. This is my last chance. Use this magnifying glass to locate the point of relevance. Then reveal to the court the location of this contradiction. Point of relevance. Okay. See, it's gotta be the scepter thing. It needs a scepter to cast it.
Got it!
That's a failure. Gosh. I'll do it again. I'm sorry. Yeah. Let's figure out here.
Wait. A clear contradiction. What can I contradict here? Dagger in one hand. Grabbed her hand, the light. What can I contradict here? There's like a puddle of water there. Summons a circle of flame within a 1 meter radius of the caster. Requires an incantation and scepter to cast. What would be out of place? I'm really missing something. Would it be on her hand? That she's not holding nothing?
Got it!
No. It's quite possible that there's an important reason behind its disappearance. Inquisitor Barnum, what are your thoughts on this? It is quite mysterious indeed, my lord. However, the Inquisition believes it bears no relation to this case. Forest wolves simply came and stole the bucket, nothing more. Let us not dwell on the milk bucket for the time being, Mr. Wright. Rather, we should first consider any information within the Grand Grimoire that might lead us to a contradiction. A new piece of evidence, maybe. I should have another look at it. I just have to touch the Grand Grimoire button. My apologies, Your Honor. Please give me one more chance. Okay. Summons a circle of flame within a 1 meter radius of the caster. I'm lost here. I am lost. I don't know. Why is he holding a bottle is what I was wondering. I don't know. It's not relevant, I'm sure, but it's just weird. Where could I find this contradiction? That tree looks too happy. I don't know. This is hard to figure out.
Got it!
Not the milk bucket thing. Why did it go to the milk bucket?
Got it!
There it is. The contradiction is right here. The hand of the accused. She seems to be holding a lantern. What is your point? It is the scepter. According to this tome, using the spell Ignace requires the use of the witch's scepter, as well as an incantation. Isn't that right? Correct. For witches to use magic, they must be in possession of a witch's scepter, also known as a talia magica. If that's the case, then there's one thing that doesn't add up. Take another look at Miss Cantabella's hands. Tell me, do you see the witch's scepter in either of her hands? Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Let's see you point that sword at me now.
You did it, Mr. Wright. But wasn't that contradiction just a little too obvious?
You may be right, Luke. It would certainly appear that the good Inquisitor is taking this particular oversight rather too well. That is correct, Sir Apprentice Baker, but you should not underestimate me. This is perhaps your first time seeing this item, is it not? Right here is the very scepter you mentioned. One of the witnesses found it tossed in the shrubbery on the side of the path.
Yes, indeed, that was I. I located it. My feet found themselves as ensnared in the blasted thing, and it sent me flying through the air.
Somehow I'm not surprised to hear you fell, Gramps. This scepter does seem to carry a most sinister air. Indeed, my lord. However, this scepter will only work while in the hands of a witch, with the incantation being said aloud.
That's too bad. I wanted to try lighting some stuff on fire.
Please don't look at me when you say that. You see, there are two magic gems set in the scepter. Magic gems. Looks like a red gem and a white gem. These gems each contain a particular magic spell. By simply looking at these magic gems, one can easily determine which magic spell can be used. Nick, quick, look at this page.
Okay. I know. Is that it?
Is that the red magic gem? Indeed. The red gem you see here is the spell Ignace. And if you look carefully, you should notice that this scepter also has one more spell that can be used. One more spell. That must be the white gem.
Mr. Wright, I found it. Here's the spell for the white magic gem.
Demare. Causes anything the caster touches to vanish from sight. Simply chant a mirror to make it reappear. Causes anything the caster touches to vanish from sight. I see, you managed to work it out in that crusty head of yours. That's just... it can't be. The reason the Witch's Scepter couldn't be seen is because the magic spell Demira had made it disappear. That's right. In other words, the accused conjured a cowardly spell to camouflage her own use of magic. No, why? Order! Inquisitor Barnum, please submit the scepter into evidence.
Objection!
Hold on, please. Is there a problem, Sir Baker? Okay, I understand this is the Witch's Scepter. However, whether or not the scepter was in Miss Cantabella's possession has not yet been proven. What are you talking about, Sir Apprentice Baker? Isn't it obvious? I'm talking about fingerprints. Supposing Miss Cantabella did in fact handle this Witch's Scepter, then her fingerprints should still be on it.
And how do you expect them to check that? There's no forensics teams in this time.
Oh, what's with the silence? You said fingerprints. Inquisitor Barnum, tell me, just what is this Baker blabbering about? I haven't the slightest clue, my lord. It is the Baker's first time in court, after all. Huh? I'm afraid it's no use, Mr. Wright. In this world, it would seem the concept of fingerprinting does not yet exist. What? I can't believe it. As I have said already, best you head back to the bakery, lest you continue to serve this court more of your half-baked ideas. They're about as half-baked as your terrible puns, Barnum. Forensic science does not exist here. Instead, this is a world in which witches and magic are accepted as fact. Truly fascinating. What the heck? There are just way too many things I don't know about this world. Mr. Wright, I believe you may be able to take these things you don't know and use them to your advantage. Huh? The Inquisition believes there is no room for debate on this matter. The accused clearly attempted to conceal her magic. Better luck next time, Sir Apprentice Baker. Mayhap your next loaf will not leave such a bitter taste in our mouths. Now then, my lord, I believe it is time I ask that you render your unwavering verdict.
Objection!
Hey, that was Layton.
Pardon the interruption. May I have a word, Inquisitor Barnum? What's that? Who might you be? My name is Herschel Layton. I'm a friend of the accused. Inquisitor Barnum, please allow me to confirm what you believe happened in the night of the crime. On the night of the crime, you claim the Witch's Scepter was made to disappear through the use of magic, is that correct? Indeed. Through the magic spell Demir. If possible, would you mind providing proof of this particular claim? What? You claim the scepter was not seen. Indeed, that is one possibility. However, a wise man must always consider every possibility. What say you, Inquisitor Barnum? Can the Inquisition fulfill the request presented by the gentleman with the unusual hat? The Inquisition cannot honor this request for proof. If you are asserting that the accused is not a witch, then the burden of proof lies at the feet of the defender. Come on, it's the Inquisition's job to prove that a crime was committed. As I thought, indeed, it would appear the accepted method of thinking in this world differs greatly from our own. How regrettable, Sir Apprentice Baker, and you, Sir Darkhat. Inquisitor Barnum, sir. Should you require it, I stand ready to lend my testimony.
Would anyone care to purchase my pre-testimony flower? I've got a lovely array of bewitching lilies. Snowy and I would not be dismissed so easily. We came here to expose the identity of this witch. Isn't that right, Precious?
A witch's scepter, you say? Yes, I know of such a scepter. Allow me to elucidate the matter. What do you think, Inquisitor Barnum? Your witnesses appear to have something to say on the subject. Very well. Most honorable witnesses, I grant your request to testify once more. Tell the court all you know regarding this Talia Magica. Oh, well, we somehow managed to keep the trial going. I owe you one, Sir Darkhat. Please, Mr. Wright, Mr. Layton will suffice for the time being. What? She couldn't have been gripping something. I can really, like, magnify it? That's weird. A weird trait thingy, but okay. I can only listen to them? That's it? The witch was holding a scepter in her right hand. She did not drop it once before she was apprehended. I see. The accused's hands was contorted in a strange way. I do believe this is quite an important piece of the testimony.
I saw it. I most certainly saw it. She was holding an invisible scepter.
I as well. These old eyes don't see as well as they once did, but I witnessed the hazy, blurry form of the accused quite clearly. Don't tell the court you're blind. My eyesight is as sharp as the edge of my trusty blade. A toy sword. How fascinating. Although I wonder if he understands the implications of that analogy on his vision. Mr. Layton's giving me another chance. I can't let it go to waste. Cross-examination. Let's do this. When I saw her, the witch was carrying a large milk bucket in one hand and a lantern in the other. The girl had the lantern hanging from her wrist. Her hand was contorted in a strange way. Like how so? I got a good look at her hand, and it looked for certain that she was gripping something. The witch was holding a scepter in her right hand. She did not drop it once before she was apprehended. Okay, let's start pressing, because I want to see what they have to say.
Hold it!
The large lantern you mentioned is this one, correct? There's no mistaking it. The glass is shattered. There seems to be a sizable amount of mud stuck to it. On closer inspection, it appears mud has been stuck to the broken sections of the glass. Most intriguing.
So then, when exactly did the lantern get mud all over it?
By the way, witness, you also saw a milk bucket, is that right? Indeed. I would bet my sword on it. And yet that milk bucket mysteriously vanished from the scene of the crime. How many times must I say it, Sir Princess? Baker, the problem is the Black Lantern.
That poor sheep.
Hold it!
Oh wait, I didn't mean to press him. Can I present the invisible spell?
Objection!
Does that work? No, it's a failure. So I figured she might have, or at least someone might have, turned the bucket invisible instead, maybe? I was just shooting in the dark there. Sorry. I'll continue to press.
Hold it!
She had the lantern hanging from her wrist. Are you sure?
Of course, we're sure. If that wasn't it, then how else would the girl manage to hold her invisible scepter?
Ma'am, please just testify about what you actually saw.
We just said that's what we saw. Isn't that right, Snowy?
Indeed, a handle as wide as this could be easily hung from the accused's small wrist.
Yes, that's what we were telling you. Isn't that right, Mummy's little snowball? Kill me.
It's no good. They're all bent on assuming a speller was holding that scepter. It seems it may be best not to pursue this particular line of questioning any further. Well, that's just super.
Hold it!
What exactly was the defendant gripping?
It was, that's right, it was something cane-like. What was it called? A witch's scepter? Yes, it was definitely
Objection!
that.
Whoa, wait, Miss Kira. You didn't actually see it, did you? Witness. This cane-like object, was it perhaps roughly this size?
Oh, why yes, it was exactly that size.
It's no good. They're all bent on assuming Espella was holding the scepter.
That's just super. Oh, it's the same type of dialogue from him. From her, at least.
Hold it!
Let me get this straight. There was no way for you to see this invisible scepter, was there?
Well, now that's common sense, boy. One cannot see what is not there to be seen.
In that case, there was also no way you could tell whether or not she might have dropped the scepter.
Well, these old eyes of mine honed in on her hand like a hawk until they couldn't see straight. Yeah, because you look very reliable with that jittery shake. The young lady was most certainly holding an invisible scepter in her right hand, while at the same time also carrying the lantern. Or do you perhaps possess some piece of evidence to suggest that she dropped the scepter?
There hasn't been any evidence so far to suggest the speller was holding the scepter. Evidence suggesting the scepter was dropped. Now that is an interesting idea, huh? If the speller did not have the scepter in her hand, it would have been impossible for her to have used any magic. Well, yeah, that's true. I don't suppose might there be a piece of evidence that could prove this? Something to prove that Espella was not holding the scepter at the time of the murder. In other words, evidence to show that even Espella had been holding the scepter, she would have dropped it.
Objection!
It's not gonna work. If she was holding the scepter and they came, she could have easily dropped it.
Objection!
The lantern, okay. There's a high probability that Miss Cantabella was not holding the scepter. But if, for the sake of argument, she had been holding it, she would undoubtedly have dropped it at the time of the incident. What do you mean? What I mean, Inquisitor Barnum, is that this lantern proves the defendant was not holding the scepter.
Objection!
What foolishness are you spouting, Sir Apprentice Baker? The lantern's handle was around the accused's wrist.
Objection!
Meaning, she could have held the scepter? I'm afraid that's not the problem here, Inquisitor Barnum. The problem is with the broken glass and the mud plastered all over it. What? The rain had ended just as the murder was taking place. That would make the path fairly muddy, don't you agree? When the thieves grabbed Miss Cantabella by the arm, the lantern must have fallen into the mud. The lantern fell into the mud?
Well, of course, that makes sense, doesn't it, my little snowy woey?
But what do you say, Inquisitor Barnum? If she was holding the scepter at that time,
What would it held?
that would mean that when she dropped the lantern, the scepter would have fallen along with it. Well, what's going on? Inquisitor Barnum seems speechless. The defenders managed to turn the thing around, even though he's just some baker.
No way, pay the witch's accomplices no heed. They're just trying to trick you.
Oh, God. What is this?
Hold it!
One moment, please. Everyone, please listen. Didn't we all just stand here and explain to the court what we clearly saw? It's a lantern, so what? What's so special about it? Explain it to me so I can understand.
So that you can understand? Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious just by looking at it. Mr. Wright. What is it, Mr. Layton? There is something about this witness. She's a little jittery, yeah. She knows something more. Miss Kira, was it? Tell me, Miss Kira. How good is your eyesight exactly?
Huh?
As you just heard Mr. Wright explain the answer to your query, it is quite obvious at a glance. Tell me, are you able to see the mud present on this lantern?
Mud? What mud? What are you talking about?
Your Honor, did you hear that just now? Oh, yes, indeed. What does it mean exactly? It means that Miss Kira's poor eyesight is the reason she cannot see the mud present on this lantern. In other words, the validity of Miss Kira's testimony is questionable at best.
Ah!
Order in the court. What is the meaning of this? What say you in your defense, witness? I highly recommend you give us nothing but the truth.
I'm sorry, Inquisitor Barnum. It's true, I need to wear glasses all the time, in fact.
You need to wear glasses.
Now that you mention it, I did notice something odd about you today.
Oh, I thought you looked familiar. Gone is the mist that clouded my mind in its place clarity. Fair maiden, a pair of spectacles are as valuable as a shield to a knight. Make haste and procure another pair. Now then, Miss Kira, tell me at the time of the incident, were you wearing your glasses? Your glasses?
No, I was not wearing them. The truth is, I lost my glasses a couple days ago.
You lost them? So her glasses were missing during the time of the incident.
Mr. Wright, might I recommend that you keep note of this fact? It could prove useful later. Got it. Am I to believe there is nothing left to prove on this matter? At the time of the murder, the accused did not have a witch's scepter in her possession.
Yay.
Hold it!
Wait just a moment. Snowy and I have much more left to say.
That's right! My trusty sword of justice shall cut through this witch's treacherous lies.
I may have lost my glasses, but I haven't lost my will to testify.
Oh god. She's a goat now?
Eureka! I remember now, old age has a way of sneaking up on me. I'm sure you must understand. Yeah, I understand. I understand you're all completely ridiculous. It would seem we have not yet arrived at a clear-cut verdict. Witnesses, you may once again begin to testify to the court. Tell us about the scepter and how it was used in the detestable display of witchcraft that you all witnessed tonight. The girl was not holding the scepter in the same hand as the lantern, which means it must have been in her other hand.
The accused is holding a milk bucket in the court illustration. Who's to say she wasn't also holding the scepter in that hand? That milk bucket is lighter than it looks. Even Snowy could carry it, so she could have easily held the scepter as well.
I did not see this milk bucket. Everything felt like an illusion. The scepter was in her other hand, you say. Indeed, such a proposal is feasible. Sir Baker? Yes, Your Honor. It is the strangest thing. The longer this trial goes on, the more you begin to resemble a legitimate defender. Huh? Well, no matter. Defender, you may begin your interrogation.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
The girl was not holding the scepter in the same hand as the lantern, which means it must have been in her other hand. The accused is holding a milk bucket in the court illustration. Who's to say she wasn't also holding the scepter in that hand? What do I have? Kira's poor eyesight and wears glasses, but she lost them a few days before. That milk bucket is lighter than it looks. Even Snowy could carry it, so she could have easily held the scepter as well.
Hold it!
You didn't see the bucket. Indeed, naturally there was no way of me noticing the witch before the crime occurred. My mind was placid as the most placid of placid lakes, but like the early bird on its morning hunt for that elusive worm, my senses remained vigilant. You do realize the other witnesses have all testified to have seen Miss Cantabella carrying that bucket, though. And, when you have journeyed as far as I have, through life you find all is but an illusion. That is, except for Lord Storytelling, of course. The witnesses' testimonies are relying on pure speculation this time. That means there has to be a hole in there somewhere.
We've got Inquisitor Barnum sweating bullets in that armor of his. I'd say he's about ready to throw it all off.
I'm not even going to begin to tell you what's wrong with that statement, Maya.
Alright.
Hold it!
The court illustration.
There's no way she could hold it like that. That's right. Judging by this sketch alone, it does look possible for her to have held the scepter. Does it? When she's... How? Tell me how. She's holding the handle to the bucket. How could she hold the scepter? With that hand. How? However, if you actually try holding that thing, you'll notice just how thick it is. No way could she have been holding it.
Objection!
That is nothing more than mere speculation.
Same with these guys. They're nothing but speculating.
You cannot say for certain that she was unable to hold it.
You say speculation, I say it's a fact. There's just no way a speller could have been holding that thing.
As expected. This testimony is filled with nothing but assumptions and conjecture. Mr. Layton.
No, Mr. Wright.
There does not appear to be any usable evidence present in the court illustration. Yeah, I agree. It does look that way. The milk bucket ended up disappearing from the scene. Could that actually be an important piece of evidence in itself?
See, I'm going back to the spell here. It causes anything the caster touches to vanish from sight. Simply chant a mirror to make it reappear. But what, that doesn't accomplish really anything. It's just... But I probably do have to do something here. Let me save it, because I'm running low on on tries here, and if I fail this is gonna suck.
Objection!
Yeah, I knew that'd be wrong.
Objection!
Really? Alright, see, now I'm drawing at straws, and I hate doing this. I gotta think.
God, sorry guys.
Objection!
I knew that. Yeah, I felt. Well, at least we get to see the failure option.
Oh, is that it?
I thought they would give us something more. Alright. It's hard to tell. I think it is on the one lady, though, at the very least.
Objection!
Did I do this already? Like I ejected with the scepter? Yeah. I'm stumped. I'm pretty stumped here. The witness's testimony is relying on pure speculation.
Objection!
I don't know what I'm... My brain... You see that? My brain is really blank.
Hold it!
I gotta think here.
Objection!
Objection!
How doesn't the spell work? To kind of justify what he says, at least. I'm not fun with this trial a lot. I can sense it. I can sense it. Excuse me, guys. I ate something a little too hard, weirdly, and it went down hard and badly. Because I'm not going off a lot here. This is what's getting at me.
Objection!
I don't like... Damn it, man. This guy that didn't see the milk bucket. I really believe the milk bucket disappeared. Like, maybe it was what turned him invisible or something. And then, I don't even know what it has to...
Objection!
What it have to do with the case, even. I'm gonna press him though on these last 2 tries with the well, not actually, because I already did the one, so nah.
Objection!
Yeah. That's the end of that. Alright, I think I'm gonna press him a couple times. We're gonna see what we can do a little better here. I think it's Mary. Mary's gotta be where where I'm supposed to you know, go from, at least. I think. I hope. I don't know. Yeah, skip that. I'm good. Okay.
Hold it!
Just 1 second, Miss Mary. What is it now? Snowy and I don't have all night, you know? Come on, out with it. I just have one question regarding your testimony. How exactly did you know that the bucket Miss Cantabella was carrying was light enough for Snowy to carry? Huh? Well... You see, the girl always uses the same bucket whenever she comes to buy milk from us. Naturally, I would have seen that bucket countless times before. You've seen it countless times before. That doesn't answer my question. You specifically said that that bucket is lighter than it looks. Miss Mary, at some point tonight, you must have held that bucket yourself. Oh. Now then, please enlighten us as to exactly when you got your hands on the bucket. It's true. By that time, Rob's and mugs had already been burnt to ash. And then, I noticed the milk in that bucket that the girl had been holding in her hand. The milk? Then when those two went up in a blaze, Snowy and I made a dash for the bucket. As the girl stood there looking confused, we took the milk from her to make sure it was okay. Huh? Unbelievable. Witness you. Ah! Well, it was just so wasteful. The thought of all that disgusting ash falling into such precious milk. I felt I just had to protect the milk, so I took the bucket back to the farm with me. Madam, do you mean to tell the court that you took evidence from a crime scene back home with you? That explains why we were unable to locate the milk bucket at the scene. Oh my, you're scaring poor Snowy. Kill me. Here, I brought the bucket with me anyway, see? I didn't even tamper with the milk. I'm sure you didn't. The court shall accept this milk bucket as evidence. Looks like that's one more piece of evidence for us. Will the gentleman with the impressive beard proceed with his testimony? Okay. So he did not see the milk bucket, he says.
Objection!
But here it is. All of your testimonies have come to the same conclusion. The scepter was not in her right hand with the lantern. Therefore, it must have been in her other hand that was holding the bucket. However, that's not it. Not by a long shot. What do you mean? Contrary to what one of the witnesses stated, the milk bucket was in fact at the crime scene. And you'll also notice something about this bucket. Take another look at the court illustration. Something about the bucket seems a bit odd, wouldn't you say?
Objection!
The handle. This illustration was based on eyewitness accounts, so a small discrepancy or two is conceivable. Actually, Inquisitor Barnum, it's highly likely that this illustration is much less accurate than you think. In fact, there is a blatant contradiction present in this illustration. Admittedly, it does at first look possible that Miss Cantabella was holding the scepter and the bucket at the same time. However, if you look at the real milk bucket, that possibility goes up in smokes. Here, let's have a look at the real deal. Notice the handle? That cannot be. Oh, but it is. This particular milk bucket has 2 pieces of wood on either side of the handle. If you were to try and hold both the scepter and this bucket, Well, let's just say that'd be a challenge, to put it simply. There's no way anyone could hold both the bucket and the scepter at once.
That must mean clearly you have the wrong bucket.
We never lie when it comes to milk. That is the very bucket I took.
Looks like the witnesses are as surprised about this as Barnum. The defendant couldn't have been able to hold the bucket and the scepter at once. Also, we have already established that she was not holding a scepter in her right hand. Therefore, the defendant, Miss Espella Cantabella, was not holding a witch's scepter at any point during the incident.
Order! Order, I said, order! Just what is the meaning of this? In all my days as judge of this court, I have never heard such an argument. These are but a paltry set of words, and yet they ring with such remarkable strength.
Your Honor, what you just heard was logic. Logic, you say?
What they don't think is, what they don't go by. They just go by what the fact is, what they see.
What is with these two? They just silenced Inquisitor Barnum with mere words. Such foolishness. This must be some type of witchcraft. Wait, do you think... could they be witches? It would seem that the concept of logic does not exist in this world.
Right, then let's take this chance to knock their case down a peg or two.
I'm worried if we keep this up, we'll all be joining Espella in a one-way trip to the flames.
Objection!
Most intriguing. A knight allows his sword to speak for him during battle. You have spoken with the sword of words. So be it. I too shall wield such a blade. What do you mean? Sir Blue Knight, there appears to be a hole in this logic of yours. A hole? According to the earlier testimony, it was believed the accused had the lantern hanging from her wrist by the handle. However, she supposedly dropped it, hence it being covered in mud. That's right. While that may be true, it does not necessarily mean the accused was therefore unable to use magic. It is merely a question of when she dropped the witch's scepter.
What do you mean, Inquisitor Barnum?
It is very simple, my lord. The accused, while first holding the lantern and the witch's scepter, cast her magic. Then she dropped both the lantern and the scepter.
Ah. The witch's scepter was dropped after the spell was cast. Of course, yes, that must be it.
What say you, Sir Blue Knight? That is but a taste of the knightly knowledge of the Inquisition.
Wow, Sir Barnum cut through that baker's witchery like a hot knife through butter. Exemplary. I expected nothing less from the hand of Barnum. Oh, to be able to shake that powerful hand someday.
That Inquisitor isn't quite what he first appeared. Yeah, sure seems that way. Just a moment ago it seemed like he'd never even heard of a logical debate. Now he's suddenly using it against us. This guy is no joke, that's for sure. Now then, most honorable witnesses, I ask that you lend us your aid once more. I request that you all testify to the court once more. Tell us which occurred first, the dropping of the lantern or the casting of the spell.
Witnesses, you may begin your testimony. Tell this court in your own words about the sequence of events which transpired tonight.
About the sequence of events.
Of course, the lantern fell to the ground after the incantation of Ignace Sploosh.
I'm sure Snowy is white. I made certain to keep my eyes peeled on that milk bucket after all. Besides, how can you be sure the lantern fell just because it has a little mud on it?
These eyes do not lie. I saw the lantern in the accused hand when the incantation was uttered. Figures. Their testimonies are all over the place now. These 4 testimonies, they are most interesting. The witnesses all saw the same thing, and yet the people's memories are evidently quite fickle. They can never be a truly reliable source.
Well then, Professor, with enough poking and prodding, I bet we can really cause their testimonies to crumble.
Of course, we need to exploit their fickle memories to turn this thing around.
We've got this, Nick. We'll press them so hard they won't even remember what they had for breakfast.
I can't even remember what I had for breakfast. Now, Sir Baker, you may begin your interrogation.
Hold it!
The lantern fell after the incantation. Are you positive about that? I say, I'm positively positive that I'm positive I heard her voice and then sploosh. That sploosh. Was that the sound of the lantern hitting the ground? Indeed, but of course, do you see? But if you look at the lantern, you'll notice that the glass is shattered. You specifically said you heard a sploosh. Shouldn't you have heard the sound of glass shattering when it hit the ground? The sound of glass shattering? No, I'm afraid I failed to catch your drift. What the hell's wrong with her? I was present in an area a bit farther away from the crime scene. You see, I have no recollection of hearing such a sound.
What is wrong with her, though?
No recollection. Precisely so. I'll have you know I can easily hear a dog barking across town. Do not underestimate my hearing. I wasn't... Relax, Grandpa. There's nothing of interest in this testimony. I will... Now, will the witness with the goat please proceed with her testimony?
Huh? Ah, right. You mean us. You started us. Didn't he, Snowy? Kill me. That goat is so sad to be with her.
Hold it!
But earlier, you stated that Miss Cantabella had the lantern hanging from her wrist.
Well, not quite. We didn't say for certain. We only believed it was on her wrist.
Believed?
Yes, precisely. You know how you sniff milk when you're not quite sure if it's gone bad? And then your nose is assaulted by that foul odor that you weren't expecting? Well, it's a bit like that.
Heed my words, madam. Do not make a habit of stealing for your own safety.
Well, we said we're sorry, please. It was all Snowy's fault.
Kill me.
Stab the sword through my butt.
Oh, brother.
Anyway, we can confidently say that we both saw the milk bucket, right, Precious? And as for the lantern falling, we don't know much about that, do we? Now, schnookums.
Hold it!
What do you mean?
Well, maybe the mud was already on the lantern before any of this happened. Did you ever think of that?
Before any of this happened?
Like, maybe it's been there since last week. It did rain last week, too, after all. And if that's the case, then there really isn't any point in arguing about whether or not she dropped the lantern, right?
Indeed. What say you, Defender? I say take a closer look at the lantern. You'll notice there's mud on the glass.
Mud on the glass?
The lantern wouldn't be very useful with all that mud blocking out the light. Miss Kira, I'd say your little theory regarding this lantern is muddy at best.
Nah!
I could point at witnesses till the cows come home. But that wouldn't turn this testimony into anything I can use. I've got to find a lead somewhere. These eyes do not lie. I saw the lantern in the accused's hand when the incantation was uttered.
Hold it!
This is important. Are you sure you really saw that lantern? You are but a petty baker, are you not? It is not your place to be telling me what is important. There's but one thing of importance, ridding this town of its witches as quickly as possible. Hardly. I'd say this is far more important. What? We're trying to find out the truth here. How absurd. That girl is a witch. I say a witch. I would stake my entrance into the Knights of the Inquisition on it. Listen well, whelp. Yes, Sir Barnum. Many young men within the ranks of the knighthood share your level of passion. However, you let your ambition completely blind you, the same way that a muddy lantern leaves one blind and helpless in the dark.
Wah!
This guy. Yes, indeed. I would say he is quite the tough motivator.
What do you think, Nick? Did you notice anything fishy?
Yeah, possibly. I think there may be something I can use.
Really? Wow, I didn't hear anything special.
There was definitely something out of place about that one witness's testimony. It was something I haven't noticed from any of the other witnesses so far. It appears you may have found something, Mr. Wright. A 4-witness cross-examination. This is something I've never done before. But then, maybe there's another way I should be tackling this. I believe it is worth trusting that intuition, Mr. Wright. Okay, got it. Alright, let's try pressing that old man one more time.
Hold it!
The lantern fell after the incantation. Are you positive about that?
Let me see what he said. It's the same, pretty much, right?
Hold it!
There it is. There it is, right there. I knew I heard something strange. Huh?
But old Greybeard didn't say anything weird.
Maya, it's not the old guy that said something weird. It's the person next to him.
Next to him? Ah, look there, Professor. The goat lady. She looks really deep in thought.
It would seem she has noticed something odd in this elderly gentleman's testimony.
Ah. That's right. These cross-examinations have 4 witnesses. Hey, Nick, it looks like we're not the only ones paying attention to these testimonies.
You're right, which means if they're all listening to each other's testimonies. Correct, Mr. Wright. Each witness is fully aware of themselves and their own actions when in the middle of their own testimony. However, it is while listening to the testimonies of others that the witnesses may sometimes reveal the most valuable information. I see, it's habitual. They can't tell they're doing it, but I can. And I'm going to use it to turn the tide back in our favor. In fact, I do believe I may have spotted our first opening in which to test this new technique. Mr. Wright, could I draw your attention to the touchscreen?